It's good shit. Hello, everybody. This video is coming out a little later than I intended, but I got caught up in the Olympics last night, so I had to postpone it, a day. It's not super late, but obviously the major thing to talk about in wrestling this week is Raw 1000 and giving my thoughts on that show. Overall, I have to say I'm not a fan of the nostalgia stuff that they did, mainly because, and when I say this, just to clarify, when I say things like they did the DX segment and nothing happened, they did the Undertaker and Kane segment and nothing happened, they did the Heath Slater segment where he got beat up by 11 legends or whatever it was and nothing happened. What I mean by that is that nothing dramatically interesting happened in any of those cases. They brought out DX, who look old, by the way, and it's kind of sad that they've kind of become what they were making fun of in the late 90s, but that's besides the point. They come out and basically just do their shtick, and that's it. There's no payoff to them being there. There's no storyline progression or anything with them being there. It's just done for the sake of a nostalgia pop, and that to me, that just doesn't do it for me, because there's just, like I said, it feels like nothing happened. You just did it because it was cool 15 years ago. And some people like the nostalgia stuff, and I imagine if you're in the live crowd, it's great. But if you're watching on TV, for me personally, I like to see, if they're having DX there, they should do something with them. Like, my idea was, I wasn't a fan of Brock Lesnar, or Triple H getting the best of Brock Lesnar in their segment, but the way I would have rectified that is have Brock Lesnar go backstage and just beat the shit out of DX. I think that would have been great. A payoff to them being there. If Undertaker was there, Undertaker he's an irregular occurrence. He's a special appearance guy, but we can count on him being there for Mania to build up his match. So whoever they plan to make Undertaker's WrestleMania opponent, why not do something with him on the show just to get that ball rolling? Or at least plant the seed so that it's in our minds for when they do start the WrestleMania build-up. Something like that, unless they want to do Undertaker and Kane at WrestleMania in a tag match or something, which I don't think would be a worthwhile attraction, to be perfectly honest. But, it is what it is. So things like that. And the Heath Slater storyline made absolutely no sense because he never won anything. So it's like the legends come out and get their revenge for nothing because Heath Slater got humiliated every week, so there's nothing to get revenge for. I was like, all right, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but okay. What else did they do? I wasn't a fan of Charlie Sheen on the show. I thought he was terrible, but that's to be expected. Although, at the very least, and I'm not looking forward to more of Charlie Sheen on WWE television, but I do think that if they have him feud with Daniel Bryan, maybe even heading into SummerSlam since that's in LA, it'll give Bryan some mainstream press, if nothing else, and maybe even get him a few special appearances on like talk shows and stuff like that. So that could be big for Bryan. So that would be interesting. I didn't most of the matches didn't really strike a chord with me, like the IC title match. Nobody cares. I like how Miz gets a title shot even though he hasn't won a match since WrestleMania. I just love how that works. Oh God, what else happened? I'm trying to remember everything. It's mostly it of the negative stuff that I want to talk about. And to be perfectly honest, the negative stuff that I'm talking about here wasn't amazingly bad. It was nothing stunningly bad, like Hornswoggle being the anonymous GM or anything insanely stupid like that. Sure, the tout videos were bad, and sure, Charlie Sheen was bad, and sure, AJ being made the general manager doesn't really make much sense. I don't understand why Vince would pick, or any business, or any sports league for that matter. It's like, hey, we need a general manager. Let's pick the crazy chick that acts weird. And that doesn't make any sense to me. But, okay. I would rather put AJ in the women's division and have her wrestle. I don't know what she's like as a wrestler. I've only seen bits and pieces of her and not enough to really get an impression. But she can't be any worse than Kelly or Alicia Fox or anybody like that. And she's at least a character that people seem to care about. So, and she is a fun character to watch on TV. So, I'd rather make her a wrestler and try to give the Divas division a little bit of a spark. Maybe build a solid division around her and see if they can make something work. But no, she's got to be in charge. And it doesn't. Like I said, I don't give a shit who's in charge of the show. It's like TNA this week. Dixie Carter's talking about. It's like, oh, I have a replacement for Hulk Hogan to fill in this week while he's injured. And I'm like, I don't give a shit. I really don't give a shit. But but yeah, overall, Raw 1000, there was nothing stunningly bad about it to really make me sick to my stomach or anything like that. And it was a quick and easy, watch. I'll say. It went by pretty quick for a 3-hour show. It wasn't painful or anything, and it didn't drag. It was pretty quick and easy viewing overall. And the stuff I liked, I really, really liked. I already talked a little bit about the Lesnar Triple H segment. I wasn't a fan of, like I said, I wasn't a fan of Triple H getting over on Lesnar. But other than that, I thought Paul Heyman should be given the mic every week. That dude is fantastic. And I think incorporating Stephanie into the mix worked out well too. And I thought they did a great job of setting up that SummerSlam match. So, all right, that was very good. And what I really liked was the stuff they did with CM Punk. And how they turned him heel at the end and had him beat the shit out of Rock. I thought that was beautifully done. And I'll be honest, a Rock Punk match, I would probably save that for Mania. That'll probably be the Royal Rumble match, but I will probably we'll probably be getting that at the Royal Rumble because they'll want to do Cena Rock 2 at WrestleMania. But I would like to see Punk and Rock because I think that's a more interesting character clash. And we've already seen Cena and Rock. So I'd like to just see something different. And I think if Punk brings his anger, rebellious side, I think that'll make for a great character clash between him and Rock. And, he'll probably come out next week and cite how he was overlooked and played second fiddle while he's been champion. And it's, and that'll be the basis for the heel turn. And, it's great. It gives them something. I'll definitely be tuning into Raw this week. I'm still not hopeful about them being 3 hours every week. I think it's going to get so bloated, and they're going to have so much trouble filling that third hour. The tout videos are... those are going to be fun. And no, I have no intention of ever sending a tout to the WWE to air on Raw. And I'm not looking down at anybody that does. I just have no interest in listening to... While I'm watching a wrestling show, I don't really care what the fans have to say. I know that sounds horrible, but it's like, look, I'll watch the YouTube videos around here on my free time, but while I'm watching the show, I want to watch a wrestling show. I don't really care what people sitting at home are thinking of what's going on TV. But, it's video Twitter, basically, and how annoying has Twitter gotten? In both companies, TNA's done, like, a Twitter explosion, too, and it's the blah, blah, blah. Look at me, I'm a crotchety old man who's just bitching about technology. But, yeah, Raw 1000 overall, I enjoyed it. The stuff I didn't like wasn't painful, and the stuff I did like was really, really good. And I said the two things I really cared about coming into the show were Brock Lesnar and The Rock and what they were going to do, and I felt like both of those things really delivered. So, kudos to the WWE for doing that right. So let's see how everything goes from here on now that we get into the next 1,000 episodes of Raw, the beginning of the next 1,000. But yeah, that's all I've got for now. Not a whole lot else to talk about really wrestling related. I am still doing my question and answers videos. I'm going to start on those next week. So last chance, send me your questions, wrestling and non-wrestling related, to my inbox here on YouTube. Just label it Q&A so I know what you're talking about. Send me as many questions as you want, doesn't matter. And I'll knock out I'm probably going to do the wrestling video first. I don't know why. It just seems like... Because I think the non-question video is going to be longer because I'm going to attach my thoughts and feelings on both the new Spider-Man movie and The Dark Knight Rises. because some of you might, for those of you that care, you might be wondering what I thought of The Dark Knight Rises. And the Spider-Man movie, I mentioned in my one-sentence movie review that I really did not like the movie at all, and I'd like to elaborate on why I did not like the movie. But we'll get there when we get there. So those will be attached to the non-wrestling videos. So that will be coming. The non-wrestling question and answers will probably be the week after next, and the question and answer video related to wrestling questions will be coming next week. So if you have any wrestling-related questions and you want to get those in there, this is your last chance to send them in. Just send them in, and next week I will knock out the wrestling question and answers video. But that's all I have for now. If you're enjoying the Olympics like I am, continue to enjoy them. It's fun. And I hope you all have a good weekend, and I will see you all next week.